Welcome to another edition of SVG Rewind. I'm Jason Dackman, Chief Editor at SVG, and I am here with a very good friend of SVG and a big name in the industry, Chris Brown. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So you guys just concluded one of the more unique events that has cropped up on the annual sports calendar over the last few years, the Match, and now as Warner Brothers Discovery Sports. You guys were able to do it differently this year in terms of actually doing it at night, which, let's be honest, of all the properties that golf has out there, we don't see golf at night very often. So tell me a little bit, how did the production go and how did this year's edition, particularly at night, differ from past years from an ops standpoint?
Thanks, Jason. And yes, this one definitely it was definitely unique. Certainly being at night. To me, it actually made it a lot more fun. And I would say ultimately or overall, the event went really well. I think everybody was pleased. I think we were pleased from a production standpoint, in a technology standpoint. So it all came together.
Cool.
And I think the idea, essentially, for doing the Match at night. We knew that this edition, particularly to get those four golfers together, to be able to get them all together, we knew that the event was going to have to be held on the East Coast. And I think, as many have seen in our last iterations of the Match, we have certainly finished under the lights a handful of times. And I think it was just a matter of embracing the fact that we were on the East Coast, and why not just do the whole thing at night, and see where that lands. And so that was kind of how we went into it. So it was with the idea that I'd say not from the beginning, but pretty close to the beginning, that this would be a nighttime event. And I'll tell you, with it being at night, being at the Match, there's a certain energy that we had, especially last summer with the quarterbacks. There's an energy that event brings, but for some reason, the doing it at night under the lights just really gave it a very different vibe, but a good one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It felt like just a different show than we've seen ever in golf. Just almost like a late night show or something. It was fun. So tell me, just from a technical standpoint, how did shooting at night impact you guys? Did you have to think about lensing? Did you make some unique camera selections? Lighting obviously is going to be unique. What were some of the things that you had to do to make sure that you could account for the lights?
Actually, believe it or not, it's kind of getting back to some of the basics of golf coverage. The directive from production as well. One of the things that we felt that we could definitely do better as a production group was ball tracking.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that ball tracking comes from your high-mounted stable cameras built on platforms.
Right.
And so we went to, essentially almost like going back to golf basics by building platforms or towers on each of the holes. As well as our traditional spiders that we basically our mobile platforms that we move from hole to hole, because those mobile platforms don't get as high as the towers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a big piece of it. And so that was probably, I think, maybe one of the more significant changes that we had in our coverage overall. And I'm not sure that had anything to do with being at night as much as it did with making the coverage more traditional and giving the viewers at home sort of what they're used to and being able to pick up the ball.
Sure.
One of the unique things about doing golf at night, and I think it's something we all learned as we kind of went through this with Musco, but Musco, as part of their lighting package, the towers that they use, and so there were over 50 sort of towers and truck cranes all together. There were 7 actual truck cranes which have the banks of lights, as well as an additional, 50 or 44 towers strategically placed around the course. But as part of their tower package, they actually do provide uplighting.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so basically, essentially, in an effort to light the sky. And admittedly, I was quite surprised to see how well the camera team was able to pick up the ball in the sky and track it. And so I'd say, if anything, from a technology standpoint, I mean, I think everybody is now, again, thanks to COVID and COVID protocols and miking the players, providing them with IFBs and things of that sort. That part was kind of standard. It was really basically trying to get far enough out ahead of it, but from a cabling and a connectivity standpoint, so that we could provide 4 full nights of lighting and testing.
Sure. Right.
Credit to the production team, Sue, for trying to work through that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think I was a little pessimistic that I'd be able to see the ball when I sat down to watch, and it certainly felt like I was watching golf during any other time of the day. So well done, guys. You mentioned the miking. Like you said, you guys kind of get the drill when it comes to miking up players, but when it comes down to it, that is the thing that makes this so much fun. The back and forth between the players, so on and so forth. What have you guys learned over time? What talking to your A1s and talking to A2s and, like you said, the process of miking players. What have you guys learned over the years to really make that part of the broadcast shine?
The best part of that for us is actually, it actually comes from the production through the technical folks. It's knowing when to open and close the microphones in terms of what they're hearing in their ear. It's making sure that they're not hearing echoes, the players. And so, again, it's that whole process, because once it becomes uncomfortable to them and it becomes unnatural, then that makes it difficult for them to talk, and it makes it difficult for them to be natural out on the golf course. And so opening and closing their microphones, opening and closing their IFBs, and just being very strategic with when we're doing it. Because the one thing that, you get into, if we're not ahead of them with that, meaning if he's getting ready to go to the tee, when do you close it? When do you open it again? Because if you leave it to them, they're going to turn it down and not turn it back up. And then that's when we're going to lead to awkward moments. And so the production team and the tech team working together to know when to open and when to close is very, very, very sort of critical piece of making sure that you can always have them available, so that whether it's somebody from the desk like Chuck asking them a question, or whether it's just them hearing each other talking, it's very important. It's got to seem natural. It's got to feel natural.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it would be very easy to have those awkward moments play out, but you guys have done a good job making it seem pretty natural and seamless. Very iconic property with the match at this point. Just how proud are you of your team, both on the op side as well as the, on the other side of the table, the production folks, for being able to pull this off yet again and do it a little bit differently. And again, create a property that's really become a classic for golf fans.
Tremendously proud. Right. And I think, every time we do this, we're trying to add just a little bit more. And what I would say with some of the challenges, look, a big shout out to both Musco and the golf course. One of the things that was interesting with this particular model was, unlike the other courses, this one was set in a neighborhood. So it was, we had to, cross streets, and for even our boneyard, so if you will, where we kept all of our extras and empties and things like that, was actually in a cul-de-sac in the neighborhood. So I mean, there were a lot of those little pieces that all really had to pull together to make this event work. And the neighborhood, the golf course, the community was very welcoming, and it was a good experience. And so that just aided to our ability to really execute on the match, because those are things that sometimes can often be impediments to really putting on a world-class event. And so, no, I mean, I couldn't have been more proud of the operations teams, certainly the production teams, without their creative thoughts and their creative input to be able to put this together. We're just connecting a bunch of wires. So it was great, and it all came together. And again, the lighting itself. Look, everybody knows that I don't really golf. Love doing golf for TV.
Right.
But as far as picking up a club, if it doesn't have little windmills or alligators, you probably shouldn't ask for me to be on your team in a twosome. But as terrible as I am at golf and being able to pick up the ball, I was shockingly surprised at how fast I was able to pick up the ball at night. And so I think, again, just a testament to our live events group, who really worked with the lighting group, the folks at Musco, to get that course lit. I mean, it was just unbelievable, and it's a view of a golf course that I would have to admit I've never seen before. I'm used to seeing stadiums and racetracks and things like that lit up at night, but to see an entire golf course lit at night was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it was certainly unlike anything I think I've ever seen in terms of, sports television. Very cool. And you did it in the middle of the NBA and NHL season when you guys have all kinds of other stuff going on. So congratulations, Chris. Congrats to your whole team. And thanks so much for taking the time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chase.